Good Sunday morning, Tilted Barners. So we're back here, new farm. You can see behind me, Mrs. Tilted Barn is spreading out some hay or straw or whatever. And you see in the later clip where we were putting out some of this stuff. This is some of the older stuff from one of the other fields that had the lower quality hay. So we're kind of using it as straw for now. You know, if they graze a little bit on the top of it, no big deal. But anyway, so this is Tilted Barn. She's working hard, spreading out all this stuff. So they got some bedding. You can see the paddock's in pretty rough shape until we can get the barn finished up. We're waiting on the builder to come back on that. But this is where we're at for now. So we're gonna go get some water here in a little bit. As I had promised earlier, in the last video, you know, I had hinted at the end about the struggles we have with water and getting water to the site. And one of the problems is that our local utility company, Consumers Energy, I'm going to say it because I'm not very happy with them right now, but they're telling me that we can't put in the service that we want. Essentially what they're telling us, we want to put in a standalone service that is away from the building, that has it's sized for a service that's sized for the barn and sized for the house. It would have a disconnect for the house, it would have a disconnect for the barn, you know, a transfer switch, and all this would set away from the barn, and it was sized for like a 300 amp service. Consumers is telling me that I can't do that. Consumers Energy is telling me that I have to set the meter socket on the barn, and to feed the house I have to sub feed from the panel in the barn over to where the house is going to go. Makes no sense to me, because the way we had it set up was over-engineered and very sturdy, had redundancies, and they're telling me I feel like it's an unsafe way. They're basically saying that if I put in a 200 amp load center, not to get too technical here, but if I put in a 200 amp load center with aluminum bus bars, that's okay to feed the barn or to feed the house through. That I can feed through that panel, through the aluminum busing, to feed a 200 amp service in the house. As an electrician, that is just backwards to me. So here we are. I could have had power to the site already with a standalone service that would have been built independent from the barn. Consumers is saying, no, you can't do that. And now we're waiting on the barn to get finished up so that we can put the service inside. It seems totally backwards, but that's where we're at. On top of that, now I have to wait for the barn to get done to get electricity, and I can't put a well in until I have electricity. So, you know, the best case scenario is that I could have had a service in place, and then all I would have had to do is wait for the barn to be built to install the well, because the well equipment's got to get mounted inside the barn. But Consumers is also notorious for being slow to respond, so we could be another month and a half out before Consumers even gets power to the site, and then I still have to wait for the well company. So extremely frustrated with our utility company out here, but that's why we're hauling water. So basically what we're doing is every day we're hauling 300 gallons of water from off-site, from a domestic water source over to here. We are looking at possibly getting water from behind me in the pond. We've sent a water sample out to EGLE, which is the local water, it's not local, it's the state environmental company that does the water, checks the water quality and stuff like that. So we've sent samples into them. We're waiting to get those samples back, or the test results back, to see if that water is good enough to go into the stock tanks for our water for our cattle. Cattle are out giddy. They're running all over the place with their new bedding. Tilted Barn did a pretty good job there. But so that's where we're at. So we're gonna get stuff loaded up, and we're gonna go get some water. Okay, so we're out here in, what do you want to call it? Suburban USA.
Definitely.
You know, not Main Street, suburbia. And this is how we're getting water every day for our cattle. So we got this big tank here, and we are literally, you can see the garden hose behind us. We are filling it off of a garden hose. And this is what we're doing to shuttle water back and forth right now until we get the test results back from EGLE, which is the state's authority on the water quality. So we're waiting on that, waiting to get that back, and then hopefully we can do this less frequently and start maybe pulling some of our own surface water off the pond, but we're still waiting to find out if that's going to be a good viable source of water or not. So in the meantime, this is what we've got. We've just got, you know, a 300-gallon tote, a trailer, and 100 feet of garden hose. So we'll get back to the farm and get this unloaded. Okay, we're back.
What?
I said, okay, we're back. Getting the water unloaded. You can see we got a hose here going into this. And if you're wondering what the foam is that's in the water tank, that is, we put in a biodegradable all-natural detergent called Shaklee's Basic H. We touch on it in some of our previous videos, and what it is it's a, honey, what is it? It's a surfactant? It's a surfactant, and basically it's for parasites. So you know, it's just a way for us to naturally keep parasites out. So that's why you're seeing the foam there. It's just the residue from the Shaklees from the previous tank. So we're gonna switch this over and take it out of here and put it in the tank with the bowl. All right, Tilted Barners, so we got the last of the water. See, the tank is empty, so we just gotta get the hose drained out. We're gonna get every drop out of this hose that we can, and so we'll get that all squeezed out into the last tank, and we're gonna call it a day. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
I'm glad you're having fun, but God, you're making me nervous.